You don't want to get divorced now, do you? You wouldn't know what to do without me. A stupid part-timer like you can't possibly even make any living at all. You'd be on your own. And what exactly do you expect to do if you go through with this? Just what I thought. Nothing. You're so stupid, it's actually adorable. My darling, I can imagine you on your knees begging for my forgiveness. I'm looking forward to coming home tonight, darling. I'll tell you that much.
My name is Mia. I'm 60 years old, and I'm a housewife. I've been married to my husband Derek for 35 years. He and I worked for the same company a lifetime ago, and after a wonderful in-house romance, we got married. Derek is a proud man, and he has a stubborn side where he simply cannot accept that he's inferior in some way compared to other people. Or perhaps he does know, but refuses to acknowledge it in front of others. But I respected him for who he is all that time ago, and that's one of the multiple reasons I married him. Some of my colleagues were actually against the idea of me marrying him, but I didn't pay much heed to what they thought, and decided to marry Derek because he was the only one for me.
After that, we were blessed with a few children, and our family life couldn't have been any happier. When I had a child, he asked me if I could resign from my job and stay at home to take care of the kids and the house. I loved my job, so I felt a bit of resistance towards the concept of quitting my job. But one cannot be selfish when thinking about their family's future. And rationally, staying at home seemed to be the best thing to do, especially considering our children. So after a short while, I quit my job and became a housewife. Because of this, I was able to watch my children grow up, and I was grateful to Derek for giving me such a precious opportunity.
I have two sons named Jared and Sky, and they are 1 year apart from each other. It only seems like yesterday when I beheld them both as but tiny babies, the most beautiful in the world. But now, both of them are all grown up. Both of them now work outside the region. Jared as a hardware engineer, Sky as a chef. Now that both of them spread their wings and left home, I was left alone with my own time. And I had way too much free time. I thought about finding some new hobbies, but I've always been clumsy with my hands. I'm too lazy to play sports. Then I thought about applying for a part-time job. I remembered how much I like to work, and I began to think that a part-time job would be awesome, assuming Derek let me. Then I thought about applying for a part-time job. I remembered how much I like to work, and I began to think that a part-time job would be awesome, assuming Derek let me. I talked to him about it, and his response was, by all means, go for it. But I have to warn you, if I find you neglecting the housework, I'll have you quit right away.
I'll do my best to make it work both ways, honey.
My husband agreed to the idea. I decided to take a part-time job at a supermarket as I continued on with the housework. It was hard at first, but as I got used to it, I was able to balance out the job and the housework pretty well. I was very satisfied with my first job in a long time. My life up until then had been wonderful, make no mistake, but as my expertise in my part-time job improved, I found that I was able to make better use of my time, and that filled me with a strong sense of satisfying accomplishment. But then my husband's mood started to get worse with every passing day.
Goddamn prick. I'm so damn tired. Why the hell do I have to work for him, of all freaking people?
Anything wrong, honey?
You won't know what I'm talking about. Remember, I'm a full-time employee, you're a part-timer. Also known as someone who doesn't understand what real work is.
My husband is 58. Considering his personality, I always supposed seeing his peers and subordinates get promoted and accomplish more than him must be frustrating. My husband is a section chief, but at his age, he could have been a chief of department. I'm not worried about me. Talk shit about me all you want, I don't care. I just think there are people out there who would rather not hear about that load of negativity. I only think you shouldn't bother them anymore.
Holy shit, you've become so cocky since you started working that slave labor, huh? You started working part-time, so what? Doesn't prove a goddamn thing. You know what? Frick you and your precious existence.
Derek suddenly stood up and brushed everything that was on the table on the floor, and then he proceeded to kick the table, smash the chairs, and wreak havoc inside the house. When I saw the way he handled my suggestions, I quickly felt a great sense of fear. I realized that upsetting him would lead to drastic consequences. I started a new life, a life in fear of my own husband every single day. Perhaps such a life tired me out quite substantially. I began to feel a little under the weather. Even at work, I got headaches if I stayed standing for too long, leading me to need to sit down. And one day, because of such a life, I collapsed during work. I was rushed to the hospital via ambulance, and according to the doctors, it was because I was overworked. They told me I had both physical and mental stress, and asked if I had any idea what could be the cause of this stress. I was certain it was all because of my husband, but for some reason I couldn't say so. I just told them that maybe I was just tired from work, and then I laid down on the hospital bed and drifted off to sleep. Evening fell, and I woke up to find Derek waiting beside the bed. "I'm sorry, honey, I'm not feeling well.
We're going home now.
Doctors told me to rest at the hospital today."
You sick or something?
"No, I'm just overworked."
We're going home. Freaking part-timer. So damn funny. Overworked at a part-time job? That's hilarious.
"It's not. Anyway, I'm going to stay in the hospital today. Take care of the house for me, okay?"
But that's not what you promised me. You promised to take care of the house and your stupid job. That was the deal.
"But take a good look at my situation. Do you really think that's possible today?" "I'm sorry, honey, but it's just not possible." That's what I told him, and he never spoke another word. He just rose, strode over to the door, and closed it with a deliberately loud slam. It was a big room, but since I was the only one there that day, I was glad no one saw that. But it's times like this that render me so embarrassed. The fact he really can't see anything or anyone around himself is downright shameful. That day I was admitted to the hospital and was discharged the next. When I returned home, I found divorce papers on the table, with my husband's section already filled out. I took one look at the divorce documents, and a tsunami of relief washed over me. I could finally leave that wretched fiend. And then I got a call from him.
Seen the table yet? You don't want to get divorced now, do you?
I do actually, yep. Let's get a divorce.
What are you talking about, part-timer? You think you can support yourself financially with that job of yours? You wouldn't know what to do without me. A stupid part-timer like you can't possibly even make a living at all. You would be on your own. And what exactly do you expect to do if you go through with this? Just what I thought. You're so stupid, it's actually adorable, my darling. I can imagine you on your knees, begging for my forgiveness. I'm looking forward to coming home tonight, darling. I'll tell you that much.
That's my husband for you, and he was chastising me to the point of no return. I signed the divorce documents he prepared for me with a smile on my face, and then I packed all my belongings into a carry-on suitcase and left the house. Evening fell, and I got another call from my now ex-husband.
Hey, your stuff's not here. And the divorce papers are gone too. What the hell are you playing at?
I told you I wanted to get a divorce, didn't I? As soon as I heard from you, I enthusiastically signed the divorce documents and submitted them to City Hall. You'd laid everything out so perfectly for me. Thanks to you, the submission was accepted without any problems. Thank you.
What the frick are you talking about? You don't want to divorce me. Your life's only going to get miserable and poor.
You've got it. I guess the nickname Eternal Section Chief fell off deaf ears, as he was no longer a manager of the year. He had to hand over the job to an employee younger than my second-born son.
Of course, Derek's pride would have none of this bullshit, and he left the company voluntarily. At the age of 58, it was difficult to find a new job.
If you could do the work well at your old job, then I don't think you would have a hard time.
But when it came to Derek, who was merely a section chief for more years than one could care to admit, he just couldn't find a job.
No one wanted to hire a man near retirement, whose greatest accomplishment was successfully creating a table of a week's sales on Microsoft Excel.
So as of now, he's actually working part-time, which he used to make fun of.
Oh, the irony makes it all so hilarious. I do hope he's finally learned what happens when you make fun of people. Never try to acknowledge your own faults, and never endeavor to make any changes to any of those faults.
Both Jared and Sky told me that they once got a call from their father asking for support, but they told me they'd fought him off, and after that, they never heard from him again.
As for me, I joined headquarters as an officially recognized full-time employee. I didn't think I'd have a full-time job at my age, so I will admit I'm a bit discombobulated. I do know one thing: I will do my absolute best for the company. My sons are also supporting me and using that as my motivation. My next goal is to become a super senior employee and make supermarkets a place to satisfy customers, as well as improve the lives of those who work for them. Wish me luck. Revenge, subscribe now.